Every little girl grows up dreaming about her happy ever after, but most of us don't have fairy tale scriptwriters making sure we get it. That's where the Happy Ever After show comes in. If you have been waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her magic wand and release your frustrations, create the prosperity you want, and live a life you love, then listen closely. It's time to learn how to make your own wishes come true with your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Ever After Show. I am so grateful that you're here, and I am excited to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes with you talking about manifesting money, which happens to be one of my most favorite topics. And it's my most favorite topic, not necessarily because money is everything, but I recently said this in an interview. Money is a tool and it's energy. And when you learn that it's an energy and a tool that you can play with, and when you can step into bigger and better things and you can naturally attract more of that, it becomes even more fun. And it becomes about you and changing who you are and showing up as somebody who is abundant and somebody who can give in the ways that you want to give, and somebody who can share and who can empower others with your money. One of the reasons that I know a lot of the people that come into Manifest 10K or who read my book, they want more money. They want it to make their life easier, but they also want it to make other lives easier. And money, it's such a powerful tool for change in our world. And that's we can do a lot without money. Like, we can show up and we can do a lot of things. And yet I have a lot of friends who are in the nonprofit sector and who run different nonprofits, and they do different things. And I know money makes a difference, because money is what is able to pay the people who support others, they're helping them change their lives, right? And it's also resources help us, and resources help us to change the world in all kinds of different ways. And, money is one of the biggest resources that is around. And when we can open up and honor the abundance that's just waiting for us, we have more tools in our tool belt. We can make a difference in our world the way and create more of what we want to see. You can create more of the world you want to see. So I believe learning to be abundant is of one of the highest services that you can do for yourself in this planet and all of those around you. Because if you're struggling and suffering, it's harder to help improve your neighbor's life or improve that neighborhood down the street, or whatever it is, the person across the globe. It's harder to impact their life if you're struggling, because your energy is going to struggle. It's going to stay afloat. It's going to tread water. It's going to all those things. And so really stepping into abundance and being in the flow of abundance, it's a gift. It's a gift to give yourself, and it's a gift to give the world. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, right? I'm not passionate about piles of money, but I am passionate about increasing your money mindset and allowing more abundance to flow into your life, because I believe it's there. And I believe each of us has a huge abundance pile that's just waiting to find its way to us. And so the better you get at upping your money mindset, and the more you become the person who is comfortable being abundant, the more you bring into your life. I was reading something from Jeannette Maw the other day. If you don't know Jeannette, go check out the Good Vibe blog. And it was like abundance and wealth. Like, it takes practice. It takes practice in our thoughts. It takes practice in the words that come out of our mouth. It takes practice to be that person. And I'm passionate about helping people practice to be that and to do that and to allow abundance to flow into their life. So that's why I do this show. I'm also passionate about entrepreneurs, which is why I do the Happy Ever After show, because I want to help you help your business create your happy ever after. That's what you went into business for, right? So I know that you're listening because you want to welcome money into your life without struggle, so that you can build your business quicker and easier and really empower that, use that money as a tool for more joy in your life and more joy in others' lives. So today we're going to talk about winning the lottery, which is one of my favorite LOA money topics, money manifesting topics to talk about. Because I 100% believe it. You can manifest winning the lottery using our LOA tools, I also believe there might be an easier way to get what you want. So we're going to talk about all of that. And we're going to talk about how trying to win the lottery can get in your way, right? Of really stepping into your power and creating a life that you want. So, what is awesome in my life this week? I shared with you last episode why I always share this, and I hope you all are taking this out into the world and you're sharing, with others. You're leading with what's awesome and what's fabulous, and you're modeling that. And I hope that you are reaping the benefits too, because it's just so much more fun to hear the positive stuff that's going on in someone's life than to sort of have them dump all the crap onto you, right? And if you're listening to this show, that the more you get more of what you focus on. So the more that you focus and the more you lead with what's awesome, the more awesome stuff you're going to get. And the more that you engage others in your life to lead that way as well, you don't even have to tell them. You change who you are, and other people start to change because they answer your question different because you asked it different. Then you get to reap even more of the awesome and fabulous stuff. So what's awesome in my life right now, and I'm so excited about this, is that I have a novella coming out tomorrow. It will be on Amazon, and if you get it tomorrow or the next day, it will be free. It's called Choose Me, and it's a novella. It'll be, in the fiction section. It's the first time that I've ever written something of fiction and created a story and wove it together, and it's exciting. The first draft, when I turned it into my editor, one of the first things she said to me, she said, we can polish this forever. She goes, but what you've really done is you've created something that like 1% of the population does. Because the thing is that like to get the story to come all together is a lot of times people get stuck in the middle and they don't finish and they don't know where it's going, or they get tormented by, I don't know, thinking it's not good enough, which I can understand because it was scary kind of to put it out there. But I'm really excited. I know it's going to be okay. I know that it's going to find those people who need it. I know that because I did the work before. But it was still, I'm going to admit, it was new. So it was a little bit scary and it felt a little raw. And it's still, knowing that it's going to be out there in the world, it feels a little bit different than my other books. And yet I am super excited about it. So I hope that you will check it out. I would love if you downloaded it because it's free on Amazon. Again, it's called Choose Me. And thank you for all those who helped me vote on the cover on Facebook. The one that won was the one with the blue tennis shoes. And so if you're not friends on Facebook, I put stuff up like that all the time. I love to get you guys' engagement and help and support and, choosing covers and things like that. So if we're not friends on Facebook, find me on Facebook and let's connect that way. But I would love if you went and, I'm going to say it one more time, go download Choose Me on Amazon. I would really appreciate it. And if you love the story, share it with someone else. It's really, there's lessons in there and there's coaching in there. And the reason that I wrote it is because I learn a lot through story and through fiction story. I think most of us learn best through story. And, some of the greatest ahas in my life have been being able to see, either in a book with characters or in a TV show, something inside a character. And I went, oh man, that's what I did. This is why this is happening in my life. And so that was one of the reasons that I stepped in and wrote this novella. And I hope that you enjoy it and let me know. All right. So, if you are loving this season of the podcast where you're talking all about manifesting money and opening to abundance, which if you haven't figured out is one of my favorite topics, I would love if you would pre-order Manifest 10,000. It will be in your local bookstore. And when it comes out May 16th and you go to your local bookstore and you find it, I would love if you take a picture of that. And for now, I would love if you went to manifest10000book.com. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you the links. You can buy it you can pre-order it from your favorite retailer, whether that's Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or Powell's or whatever. Pre-order it. You'll get it sometime, I've heard, between mid-April and the end of May, depending on who you order it from. But if you go back, you fill out the form and you tell me where you ordered it from and you give me your order number, I'm going to send you a complimentary copy right now. So that's actually the only way to get a hard copy right now. And I've heard from lots of you that you're wanting that hard copy to kind of mark up and dog ear the pages and remind yourself. So if you would love to have that hard copy now, just go to manifest10000book.com. That's manifest10000book.com and pre-order the book. And as I've said before, this really helps pay it forward, because when you get a pre-order, the book buyers for the stores they pay attention to that. And so what you're actually doing is helping get it in more bookstores, which is helping someone else find this book. So if my podcast or my work, any of my books have made a difference in your world, this podcast, I would love if you just sort of paid that forward by investing in a copy and investing in the pre-sale of Manifest 10,000, because my intention is 10,000 pre-sales of the book. So before May 16th, we're going to have 10,000 of these pre-sold. And you can help and be part of the movement by going to manifest10000book.com and buying the book and then coming back and putting your information in, and I'll send you out a complimentary copy within a couple days. So just want to really quick thank some people who have ordered the book. Rebecca, thank you. She ordered 2. Carolina, thank you. Cindy, thank you. Josette, Jenny, Connie, thank you so much for pre-ordering. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't heard your name on the show yet, I promise I will read it. You pre-order the book and, I just have, it'll come up. If you haven't heard your name yet, it will come. So go to manifest10000book.com and pre-order your copy today. And we're going to talk about winning the lottery because it's such my favorite thing. So the last episode we talked about, it's my favorite thing because I think there's so many lessons in it. So I just wanted to qualify that before we go on. But so we talked last time about some of the ways that people think that money manifests in their life and how going in with a preset, I think this is how it's going to happen, this is how it has to happen, can get in your way. Either it can block you, because if you think, to get a bunch of money, you have to inherit it and someone you love has to die, that can actually block money from coming into your life. Or you think it's on this unclaimed money list where and then you start putting all your energy into like searching for your name. And then there's the creating the plan, which we talked a lot about, and how creating that plan doesn't leave the field of possibility open. And the other way that people think money manifests, and one of the biggest that I see, is winning the lottery. And I said that we would talk about that on this show because I think it deserves its whole show. I love this topic. So I want to start out with this. I don't necessarily want to win the lottery. I'm not opposed to winning the lottery. It's just not really on my intention list, but I would love if somebody read Manifest 10,000 or they're taking Manifest 10K and they win the lottery. Like one of my intentions is to like be paid 10% of a lottery winning by helping someone else do it. Just because to me that sounds more fun. And so it's one of the clues when you're thinking about manifesting money. You want to stay in what feels fun and what feels good. And what feels good to me is being the person who teaches other people how to win the lottery. So if that's you, go to manifest10k.com and start that program and start with 10,000. So this is my suggestion, and we'll talk about a little bit about why this is to really start with those lower amounts. So one of the reasons that, thinking you have to win the lottery can impact how successful you are at money manifesting is, number one, if you think that's the only way, it gets in the way, right? Because you're like, this is the only thing that can happen. And we're going to talk about why it gets in the way. One of the main reasons it can get in the way is, well, number one, it's really a big number, right? Often the lottery, and like if we're talking about the lottery, we're talking about over $1 million. And so a lot of times when you start in that manifesting place, or maybe you've been trying for a long time to manifest a really big amount of money, I suggest starting with $10,000, right? And learning the skill set to manifest $10,000. And when you manifested $10,000, you can reuse those same skills. It's the same tools and the same skills to increase that number, right? Like I started with, manifesting, couple $100 to $500 to $1,000 to more and more thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? But it was a process. Because what I find is when people go straight for the $1 million, it's harder for your mind to grasp what $1 million is, right? If you're making $50,000 or $100,000 or $25,000, if you're making that, even if you're making $100,000, that's 10% of $1 million, right? There's only 10%. So you have to grow 90%. That's a lot for your mind to take on and to process what that looks like in your life. What are you going to do with that money? Like all of those things. And we go through that process, with $10,000 and manifest 10K, and you can kind of learn how to step by step and step that up. But if your brain can't grasp or process, it's harder to grab onto what does that look like in my life? When we talk about using the law of attraction and leveraging that, manifesting money, if you're trying to visualize what that looks like, but your brain has no concept of how much money that is because it's so far out of the realm, a lot of times nothing sticks. It's sort of like spinning your tires in the mud and you can't get traction. And the reason you can't get, if you could see me right now, I'm like, I'm like kind of like swimming, making tire movements in the air. I like to talk with my hands. But so, you can't get traction because your mind can't grasp it. And so that's one of the reasons why I changed Manifest 10K to Manifest 10K. It used to be money, money, money. And I would see people who come in and they want to win the lottery and their money that they want is ginormous. It's $1 million, it's 10 million, it's 100 million, it's whatever. It's lots of money, which is awesome. It's awesome to be open to that. I totally believe you can manifest that. Love that you're opening to that. But if your brain doesn't have a concept, like none of those people were super successful. And what I saw as I would see them do their assignments and, do the process is that they just didn't have any concrete knowledge. There was no clarity in their mind about what that looked like. So, and that's part of what it takes to manifest. If you can't get in touch with that feeling and who you are in that space, it's really hard to manifest something. So that's one of the reasons why, winning the lottery can often feel far out. Now, I'm all about, stepping it up. Again, I said this before, but learning the skill set to manifest $10,000 and then going for $100,000 and then $500,000 and then $1 million, right? There was somebody who took Manifest 10K one time and she said, she emailed me and I like her a lot. She said, I'm going to go for $10,000. Like that's what I'm going to manifest. And I emailed back and I said, that's great. And I love your enthusiasm and I love your openness to possibility. And I'm going to suggest you don't do that because, it's new and, your brain can't wrap all the things I just said. Right. And so 90 days later, it didn't work. And so she emailed back. She said, well, that didn't work. So I'm going to try it your way. Basically were her words. And she manifested well over $10,000 and it came in ways she didn't expect. And now she can go for that 100,000 because now she's learned, she's got success. Her brain knows how to process that. She knows what it looks like to get $10,000. So for somebody who is wanting to win the lottery, I say pick a number, and we're going to talk a little bit, actually, before I talk about picking the number, I want to talk about, what happens is it becomes the thing is winning the lottery. So I think that winning the lottery and having an amount of money be attracted into your life are two different things. So winning the lottery is one thing. And it's kind of what happens is that when people start to focus on that, their focus becomes on winning the lottery instead of the money. And most people don't actually want to win the lottery. What they want is the money that comes from winning the lottery. Right? So think about that. Like, do you, if somebody just walked up, let's say that the lottery's, $100 million. So if the lottery is $100 million, do you actually want to win the 100 million? Or if somebody walked up and handed you 100 million, would you feel good about that? Would you be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter how it comes. So what I see happen most is what people want is that money that comes with it. They want the abundance. They don't actually want to win. That's just the how they think it's going to happen. And what happens when you decide that winning the lottery is how money has to come in, you get distracted from the money. So you're not clear on the money. You want the money and the abundance, right? But what you start focusing on when you want to win the lottery is you focus on winning. So maybe one example would be you take, a picture of that big giant check and you put it on your vision board, or you put jackpot on your vision board. You're actually focused on like the winning of that. You're focused on that versus, there's so many ways that the universe can bring you what you want in the abundance that you desire. But when you start focusing on winning the lottery, you put all of your thoughts, you put your thoughts. So let's say you decide, I'm going to win the lottery, right? So you do all your law of attraction stuff. You visualize watching TV and holding that winning ticket and seeing the number come up on the screen and then matching it to your ticket, and you practice doing a dance and winning. And so that's kind of your visualization. And then you practice your thoughts like, I'm a winner, I'm a winner, I'm a winner, which is like, that's a great thought, right? It's an awesome thought. And yet for me, I want to really be focused on, I'm abundant. I have all the money that I need. I have more than enough money that I need, right? Versus being a winner. And then you start doing the, all these other things. And then what happens too is you start thinking like, well, should I play 5 lines, or no, it only takes 1 to win. Maybe I should only play 1. How do I pick my numbers? Should I quick pick? Should I pick the same numbers every week, right? You start getting into this thinking thing because you're trying to win. Versus if you decide, if it's $100 million, you're like, I want $100 million. Cool. The first thing I say is the first thing I say in Manifest 10,000, the book. The first thing I say in Manifest 10K, the course. Go allocate out that $100 million. So you know what your life looks like with $100 million in it. And then start becoming that person versus just putting your energy into winning. So when you focus all of your thoughts and your beliefs and your visualization on winning the lottery, you're really closing down all the other possibilities, because that's all you're focused on. You're just focused on, I want to win, I want to win. And, you can totally manifest things that you think are going to get you what you want, and they don't. And I might have shared this story on my podcast before. When I was doing my business, I wrote my first book and I self-published it way before the books that I have now. And I manifested getting myself on a syndicated radio show. It was on in like 8 major markets. So this is a big deal. It was a lot of people listening, right? And I manifested it. I used all the tools, like I'm talking about with the lottery, right? I visualized, I thought about it, I decided, I set the intention, I used all the same tools that I use for manifesting money. I use all the same tools I use for any type of manifesting, right? And I got on this show and I got 1 book sale for $14.95 and no clients. Now, I manifested that, but when I look back and I was like, what I really wanted was clients. I didn't book sales weren't important. What I really was looking for was clients. But I put all my energy into thinking like I'm somebody who gets on the radio and believing and, visualizing talking to this on this one show and being that person. I put all that energy into that instead of being the person who got clients. And there's a difference, right? I went on that show and I got 0 clients because I hadn't practiced being someone who got clients. That's the same thing. When you put your energy into winning the lottery, you put your energy into winning the lottery, all those thoughts and beliefs. And so that's the only path. I tend to think that the quicker path is to get clear about, I don't know why I'm using the $100 million number today, but that's what I'm using. If you really want to win the lottery, get clear on who has $100 million, right? And figure out who that is. And that's actually going to serve you more. And here's why. So most lottery winners, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I actually know someone who wrote a book on this and actually studied lottery winners, right? And a huge, way more than 50% of them end up broke and in a worse situation than they were before they won the lottery within 5 years. They lose it all. It doesn't matter what the number, it doesn't matter whether it's a quote unquote smaller winning $1 million or it's 100 million. So many of them are worse off than they were 5 years later. And it's because they don't know how to be the person with money. You know, it's because they don't know how to be that person who receives that abundance, who creates that flow, who can do it. And so that's why I also believe, just focusing on becoming who you want and learning the skills and the tools to become the person who has $10,000 first and then $100,000 and then $1 million is going to give you more success, because you're actually learning who that person is with the money. So you're not in danger of losing it. You're not in danger of losing. You're not in, you are the person who has that money. So it's not going to disappear. Like, the probability is when you just get all of this money and you haven't prepared, you haven't become the person. So that's really why I like to use the skills, and I like to open to abundance, and I like to include money mindset, is because then you're ready. You're creating a person who is ready to receive, instead of just focusing on being someone who wins the lottery. And I think those are two different things. And that is essential if you want to win the lottery or you want to create success in your business. Like, that's the same thing. Preparing yourself and becoming the person who has success in your business and can make $1 million or $2 million or whatever your number is, $100 million. Becoming that person and practicing and using the skills and tools to become that person and manifest, and then leaving the path open to the universe, like leaving that possibility playing field wide open, I tend to believe leads to more success. Of course, you get to choose what you believe. So, honor that. Whatever your choice is cool. It's your choice. But I just wanted to really share that perspective on winning the lottery, because I think there's so many juicy things to play with in there. There's so many nuances. There's so many things that we see like, oh man, yeah, you're right. Like I was trying to control that. I don't know how to be that person. I'm just like focused on the winning. And entrepreneurs do that too. Like, to bring this back to entrepreneurs, oftentimes they do the same thing as I did. I was like focusing on getting on this radio show. I'm focusing on being somebody who's interviewed on a show, which was really cool. And it was really fun. And I got to tell all my friends, but I still didn't have any more business, right? Because I missed practicing and becoming the person who has clients, because I was focused on being the person who had what I thought I needed to be successful, right? And when I look at that from a perspective of, who I was then, still today, I would rather have a client over a radio interview any day, right? It depends on the radio. And now I know my numbers a little bit better, and I know how to convert, and I know the strategies, right? But I know first and foremost, the person that I practice being is a coach with clients, with successful clients who are growing every single day. I practice being that person, and then the possibilities that are going to lead there come in. So, the radio show interviews find me, right? I get emails that are like, hey, will you please come on our podcast? Will you please, come do this or participate in this? Because I'm being the person who is empowering successful clients versus just being somebody who wants to be on the radio. And so all that ties into entrepreneurship. Even though we're talking about winning the lottery, it's all connected, and you can take the same lessons. And again, that's what I see entrepreneurs a lot of times they do. They start to focus on, and they use all of their manifesting skills and tools and everything they know to get things that they think are going to get them what they want, instead of focusing on what they want. Just like people focus on winning the lottery instead of focus on being the person who has that amount of money. So I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear, your comments if you had any ahas in this. As always, I love to hear about that. Before I let you go, I just wanted to share this little thing from Megan. So excited. She took the Manifest 10K course, and she said, thanks, Cassie. I didn't manifest a literal 10K, but did start my new job and definitely feel much more abundant, and most importantly, had fun. And that was really highlighted. And I love that. Like, so she gets it. Like, I'm, really happy, because Megan This is a skill set, and this ties into what we're talking about, right? So she might not have manifested a literal 10K in this 90 days, but what she did was gain skills that helped her get a new job, feel more abundant. And we all know that's going to lead to $10,000 over and over and over and over again because it's the skills. So if you're interested in joining Manifest 10K and learning those skills, just go to manifest10k.com. Would love to have you. I'm going to leave you with this mantra today, which is money is on its way to me. Money is on its way to me. So practice it as it feels good and practice it until it becomes natural. And have a fabulous rest of your week. I will talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thanks for joining us on the Happy Ever After show, where you don't need a genie lamp to get your wishes granted. Now that you're inspired and ready to take action, get yourself on the path to your happy ever after by scheduling a complimentary strategy session at createmyhappyeverafter.com.